Greetings, people. Who would have thought? Not wet season. Come with us while we go and inspect 2015 Triumph Tiger 800 XRX with about 40-something thousand kilometres on it. Do some research on any bike you're interested in that have done a few Ks in case there's a problem that the manufacturer's put in there. KDM, cam bearings. For me, when I'm inspecting a bike or when I'm going to inspect a bike for myself or for anybody else, I want it cold. And I'll tell the seller that. And I'll make sure that they know, either through GAM translating it if he's Thai or if he understands English perfectly, I'll make sure that he understands if can I see the bike cold? If their answer is yes, then I will stipulate that if I get there and the bike's hot and just been ridden, I'll walk away or I'll forget about that bike and move on to another one. So why do you want a cold, Two Dogs? Glad you asked. A cold bike with high kilometres, or any kilometres, but Glenn's was high kilometres, is going to show its true form to a certain degree at a cold start. All the oil has drained down, is now sitting in the sump. The oil pump is not full of oil, and all the oil's not now sitting up on the top of the engine where it goes. It goes from the bottom, through the crank, through the main bearings, up to the top, into the tappets and valves, and back down again to start the cycle again, after it goes through a filter, of course. So I want all that oil sitting down the bottom. And why it's so important that it is cold is that when I first start the bike, I'll do all the inspections first and further, give the bike time for all the oil to drain down. I'll inspect the bike, and then when I go to start it, I'll keep my ear close to the engine. You may not be intimate with what the engine's going to sound like to you. This might be the first Triumph you've bought, or you may not be 100% mechanically switched on. But what you are listening for is a change. The bike, the engine, it starts. You hear all the noises, and then you hear something substantially change. You either hear a rattle right at the beginning and it suddenly goes away, or you just hear something in the engine that has changed sound a couple of seconds after it started and the oil pressures come up. Not necessarily a deal breaker, but what it does for me as a mechanic is it tells me something is worn, and do I have to address it straight away? Is it catastrophic? Is it a known problem with this particular bike? And is it going to be a drama? I am listening for a change in sound, or a sound that comes in after the bike has been running for a second or two. While we're on sounds, when you get back from your test ride, don't shut the bike straight off. Get off the bike, put your side stand down, listen to the engine, see whether it pretty much sounds the same as it did when you first started it. Start looking for anything that's been leaking underneath, anywhere around the engine. Get your light out and have a good look. And look at your forks. Look at the sliders of your forks. At your inspection before you rode the bike, you've already run your finger up and down, got a rag, cleaned the fork sliders, the shiny bit, and put your fingers on it to feel if there's any cuts and nicks that will definitely destroy a seal when the fork is compressed up to where that nick will pass through and in and out of the seal area. Okay, you're now there. It's inspection time. You've arrived. It's the bike you want. Gam and Pim sat down with all the paperwork. They went through all that while I commenced the inspection on the bike. And the inspection on the bike started with me confirming all the numbers, the engine number, the chassis number, tyres, those round things. They're important, eh? So tyres. On the tyre, obviously checking for tread, checking for evenness of wear across one side all the way to the other side. Looking for cracks. On the tyres, normally in a little round window, there are 4 digits. Those digits signify date and year of manufacture. When you turn the ignition on, you get a whole heap of lights come up on your dash. That serves two purposes. One, to confirm that the actual globe is still working. Second purpose is actively let you know that the ignition is on and various systems are going through their self-test and the self-diagnosis. You should see at minimum engine check light, normally orange, ABS light, normally orange, oil pressure light, normally red. Cycle the key a couple of times if you're not familiar with the dash and you're not familiar what lights came on, because they do go off pretty quickly. Front brakes, pad thickness, any moisture, any look at the line coming off the caliper that will go up to, possibly on big bikes you normally go to a T junction up near the forks. Just give it a little bend with your hand, not too tight, just looking for cracks in the rubber, no moisture, everything looks like it's OEM. And you're sweet. Disc thickness, it's written on the disc. Most of them you'll find it either on a floating disc, you might find it on the actual bolting hub rather than the floating friction area, but it'll have a minimum thickness. It actually says min 4 millimeters. Grab yourself a set of cheap calipers. If you're buying a scooter, they very rarely use the front brakes at all, so they normally replace the master cylinder, put flush the fluid, whack a new set of pads in it, and you've nearly got brand new front brakes. Did notice on the photos straight away I could see that this chain is already at almost its full adjustment. We've got 50 teeth on that one and 16 teeth on that one. This was going to be about a 7,000 baht cost straight away, right from the word go. When you have a chain that's this far out of adjustment, it is very smart to replace the sprocket, the chain and the front sprocket all as one set. The rear brakes get used all the time. They're normally worn down to a minimum. The first thing I saw when I was inspecting Lent's bike was the reservoir was right down on minimum. I'll talk more specifically about that in our service video next. We are going to have a good chat about brake fluid and coolant in the next videos. You're not a mechanic, but you are mechanically minded and you want to do a lot of this stuff this yourself. Just watch that video. I'll try and put timestamps in, but it's really important to understand about brake fluid. Innocuous as you think it is, it just sits in the reservoir, you hold something, it pushes it down there, it squeezes something and you slow down. Thailand, humid, lots of moisture in the air. Brake fluid, hydroscopic, loves to suck the moisture. Steering head bearings. How do you check them, Jace? I check them twice when I inspect a bike. When I first arrive, if the bike's sitting on the side stand, that's great, leave it there. Get someone to bring the bike upright, get them to hold the back brake on, not the front. Make sure they're not holding the front brake on. Hold the back brake on, get yourself in front of the bike, move the bike forward and back by grabbing the wheel and trying to roll it forward and back. Put a little bit of effort into it. You're checking wheel bearings, you hold the wheel off the ground, hands at 12 and 6 o'clock position, and you do a rocking motion forward and away from you. Not a lot of pressure, you're just feeling for a little bit of play, a little bit of There should be zero play in wheel bearings. When it comes to checking the swing arm, you've got the bike up on the center stand. You want someone to hold the bike because you are going to go to the 3 o'clock position on the back tyre, and you're going to really try hard to push the tyre away from you, pull it towards you vigorously and as hard as you can, whilst keeping an eye on the pivot point of the swing arm. Again, you should feel no movement, you should see no movement. That's your swing arm bush. Wiring. Some of the questions I ask is, how long have you had the bike? If their answer is, I don't ride it much, it just sits under a cover and sits in the shed, I am going to be zeroed in on wiring a lot, because when you put a cover on it, those rodents are going to bloody eat the insulation, and it's not fun fixing wiring. I don't like fixing wiring. Take it to another shop. Have a good look under there with your light and look for anything that you don't have to know how the manufacturer did it, but a majority of the wiring you'll see is wrapped in a certain way with a certain type of cloth or electrical tape. The OEM harness is fairly consistent. So you're looking for something that looks like it's new, or it doesn't, it wasn't there in the first place. Also looking for if they've added LED lights and they've put things on. When you get to under the seat part of it, you're looking for how they put it on, how they terminated the ends. Did they put a fuse in the system? Often not. factor that in that, you know, you might have some wiring gremlins if they've done a bugger of a job. It may not be an issue straight away, but it might affect other systems on the bike, and you're scratching your helmet thinking, you know, why is this thing not working? One little wire that's just shorting out to earth or not getting an earth. That happens a lot. You'll get a gremlin where there's a bad earth, and whatever that component is that's trying to use power will try and find a source of that earth through a neighbouring circuit, and it just creates dramas. I hate wiring. Go to someone else. Check your frame. Look at your frame for rust, any welds that are bent, anything that doesn't look OEM. Whatever the bike is, it's going to tell you it's OEM by just looking at how the welds are everywhere else and how the paint is everywhere else. So you're looking for rust with your light up underneath the tank everywhere you can as you're looking around the bike. You look frame rust, bent, evidence of accidents. Also ask if there's been any repairs, any engine repairs. You will see that they don't often, the shops here may not use OEM gaskets when they do a repair. So you're looking at all the engine casings and everywhere on the engine where a tappet cover bolt's on the top or a clutch cover bolt's on the side. You're looking for evidence of silicone and anything that doesn't look the same as everywhere else on the bike. If the whole engine, tappet covers, side covers and all that have got silicone pouring out of them because someone's done a repair, run away. Has been apart, all right, we just covered that. If it has, if you see a side cover off or a tappet cover off, just ask the owner. They might have said, yes, it's just had a tappet cover service. Make sure you've got a receipt, check that that's fair dinkum. You know, it might be okay, but anyway. Take off your oil filler cap. Look under that as well. This is often the trick I use on cars, more so on motorbikes. But look under the oil filler cap. If someone's doing a naughty on you, there's a good chance that they'll forget to wipe underneath the cap. You're looking for milky. Is it an oil colour? Is it milky? Is there a lot of carbon in there? It should be just the smooth finish of the actual cap material itself and maybe covered in oil. And do that after your test ride. Righto, look at your gauges. This light should go out pretty bloody quick. Look at that, good oil pressure. If that oil light doesn't go off quick on your bike, and or you see all those silicon bits, run away, run for your life, or buy it. I don't care, just don't come to me to fix it. If you want to have a good laugh at my expense after you've watched this video, have a look at the next video after this and see where I stuffed up when it came to forks. You're only going to let a ute go past me that looks like it's chock-a-block full and people sitting on top. This is a classic. Let's get behind this. Right. Righto, look at these two characters. Right out. Naughty boy, James. Right out. Go, you good thing. Get up and... Just at the fuel station. And the fuel light's on. Go bigger. Oh. Righto. Now that it's sitting there idling and it's warming up, do a couple of checks. First check is put it in gear, then put your side stand down. The motor should cut out. Try and start it without your hand on the clutch. You've actually got to pull the clutch in before the starter motor will engage. Do the bounce test. Hold your foot on your hand on the front handbrake and push and push and push, and then release the pressure that you're pushing up and down, bouncing it. Suspension, sorry, should do after you finish, giving it power to push it. Should just bounce once and then settle. Same with the back. Jump on the back, up and down, up and down, up and down, and then stop. It should just go down and settle. That's a sign that your dampers are doing their thing. While the bike's on the centre stand, check the oil level. Pretty good idea. Not that that's a biggie, because you're going to do a service, aren't you? Yes, Jace. You're going to do a full service, aren't you? Yes, Jace. You're going to replace the coolant, flush the radiator and replace the brake fluids front and rear. Yes, Jace. Good boy. It's not 100% conclusive that everything is working fine, but it's good. 2 fire extinguishers on that bike. The ride to me is all about feel. It should feel normal. What's normal? Well, it just should do what it's supposed to do. It should take off nicely, the engine should idle, you should be able to ride it like normal, no clunks, no bumps, the brakes do their thing. If I've left anything out, you know, that's what the comments is for. Leave a comment. Next video is the full service of the Tiger 800 XRX with a couple of dickhead moments that we got to fix. All right, love yous. Raining a little bit. Not much, just a little bit. Everything's fine. This is now rain, getting wet. On the Thai Richter scale of rain, it's still fond, but it's getting close to fond mark. Now, on Australian scale, we call it pissing down. Fond mark, it's beating, but I love it. Beautiful water. Doesn't taste real good. Tastes better when it's filtered through your mustache.